Hi guys, Sarah Scalpel here, and I am going to do the 10 goth cliches that Toxic Tears did, just like her. And some of them overlapped as I watched her video. I was like, I have this in common too, but I don't want to, I'm trying to be creative here, so number one, when I do smoke, it's probably because I have cloves. I do love smoking cloves. That is a very goth cliche thing of me, but I do love them. They're the only thing I really smoke ever when I do, which is rare. Number two, I love Edgar Allan Poe and went through a time in my baby bat days where I wrote an awful lot of goth emo poetry that was pretty dark. I have this one poem about death that still holds up, I think. It was pretty good actually. I was like some of my best poetry came out of those days, but it was ridiculous. I was such a moody teen, such an angsty teen. I'll get to that later. That's kind of I gave that away. Number three, I love bats, owls, frogs, toads. I had a pet newt, pet rats, my two boys. Sadly, they don't live long. They're already gone. Cats, and all sorts of creepy animals. Number four, I do love coffee despite not being able to have too much or nothing too strong. I have to keep adjusting my necklace, but I need a shorter chain on this and it just keeps falling. Why? But anyhoodle, I do love coffee despite not being able to have too much and nothing too strong because my migraines means I can't really have coffee or caffeine a lot. It's funny because I do rely on it, but at the same time, if I have just the slightest bit of too much and or if I have coffee that's made too strong or is too strong of a brew, I'm just gonna have a bad time the next day. Number five, I also do a lot of home decor shopping at Halloween for everyday use. Yes, this is like something I had in common, and I'm sure a lot of us goths have a lot in common. We use Halloween stuff all year round, if it's nice enough or even if it is more Halloween-ish. Number six, I love jewelry made from animal bones and want to get into making my own. Yes, like this raven necklace that I have right here. It's a casting or something, or it's like a mold. They probably did a mold. I wonder if it came off of like if they were somehow able to use a real one or if it was just an artist rendering of a raven skull and I had to mess with it. So now I'm gonna have to like it's like, stop moving around on me. Just stay where I put you at that right there. But yes, I do love animal bones and everything, and I want to get into working with animal bones. And luckily, my dad's a hunter, and he kind of raised me that way, so I know all the legalities, so I know everything will be legal, and I'm not going to have unethically sourced bones or materials, so that's good. Number seven, I love DIY, making stuff, because usually you have to DIY a lot of stuff when you're alternative, and you like repurposing things, clothing, or items, furniture. That's all fun, super fun. Number eight, I like the music as I get to know the bands. This is funny because I wasn't always into the music part of it, and there are some goths out there I know on YouTube here that are like, oh, you have to like the music to be goth, but I don't think, well, maybe to be with the goth label, you might kind of have to try to like the music, or at least the clothes, or at least like one of those to be goth. Otherwise, you're just darkly inclined. Like me liking horror and everything, you just like horror, you're a fan of horror, which usually goth and horror go hand in hand, but I am getting to like the music, so I'll give it that. I actually don't hate goth bands or goth music. In fact, I'm not really much a fan of pop. I've never really been a fan of pop. I've always liked something alternative. Number nine, it's stereotypical, but my faith is kind of I'm a witch. Catholic witch. I kind of still sometimes go to Catholic Mass because there's, I think, a lot to be said for being goth and being Christian, like my friend Emily is. She's a good proof of like you can be Christian and goth and not necessarily, definitely not a Satan worshiper. I mean, like, goths wear a lot of crosses often, and it's like, well, like, Christians should, like, they wear crosses, but they wear them in different ways than goths do. It's stereotypical, but I'm a witch. I found my way to pagan beliefs and everything. Being Irish Catholic and raised Catholic, being Irish Catholic, I feel like there's a lot to be said for, like, the link between pagan faith and Christian faith, Christianity is essentially just paganism reborn and given a new name. And Catholic really is just the socially acceptable pagan, pretty much. We still have many pagan beliefs in the Catholic faith, and I haven't been confirmed Catholic, so that's kind of why I found my way to the witchy stuff and why I kind of like tread the line between both. It's a mixed spirituality that I have. And finally, number 10. Sometimes I can struggle with depression and be super moody, broody, and emo. Especially when I was younger. I was really a broody emo kid and wrote that terrible poetry and everything and was that stereotypical goth kid. Not to the point that I got picked on, maybe a little bit. I got a little bit of razzing for it, but not a lot. But definitely have my struggles with depression and moodiness and even suicide. I've had my bouts of it. It's like I don't think I'll ever be able to hurt myself. I think I'll always be okay, but I definitely have days where it hits out of nowhere and it's like, ow, wow. But I get over it. I try to stay cheerful and like, despite being goth, you can be cheerful and goth. You can be like, you don't have to hate life to be goth. But those are my 10 goth cliches about me. And that's everything, I think. Bye, guys.